I'm in my room, and the Arkells are on the radio, on 102.1 The Edge. They're playing Oh, the Boss is Coming, a song I love, but I'm not just listening to it, I'm studying. I've been studying everything The Edge has to offer in preparation for Edgefest tomorrow. I'm 16, and I've never been to a concert before. All of my friends have, though. They all have these stories that start with, so this one time at a concert, but I don't have any stories like that. Actually, not even allowed to go to concerts. My dad thinks they're all devil music and marijuana. Whatever. My mom says she's gonna cover for me. My friend Steven's gonna pass by later with my ticket. I'm gonna pay him back, and it'll probably be the most amount of money I've ever spent, but it'll be worth it. The lineup for tomorrow is ridiculous. The Arkells are gonna be there. Chaos is gonna be there. I mean, I only know like 2 of his songs, but I can rap the shit out of them. Metric is gonna be there, and Alexisonfire is gonna be there. They're the ones I'm most excited for. See, all of my friends are metalheads and punk rockers, so they'd be unfazed by all of the indie stuff I'd be seeing. Alexisonfire is punk rock, though. Their post-hardcore screeching is sure to whirl up a mosh pit for me to cut my teeth on, maybe even literally. The respective metalheads is bought with scars. I know Alexisonfire will provide. I hear muffled yelling now. It's not coming from the radio, it's coming from outside my room. My parents are fighting again. I barely register it anymore. They have these arguments they keep coming back to. My mom will complain that my dad never helps out. My dad will complain that my mom is too demanding. Whatever it is this time, they'll yell about it for an hour, give up, then leave the issue unresolved. Just another landmine placed around the house waiting to be tripped. I'm used to it. Suddenly one of the yells becomes crystal clear, and I hear my dad scream at my mom, "Get out." I peer out of the door. I'm not in time to see my mom storm into her room, but I see her walk out with a suitcase. She takes me into my sister's room to talk to both of us. Angry tears are drying on her face, and her voice is still shaky from crying, but there's determination in her tone. She says to me, "I called your uncle. He's coming to pick me up, and I'm going to take your sister with me. I know you have to wait for your friend. That's fine. You can head to Mississauga after the concert. Are you going to be okay staying here tonight?" It's hard to pay attention to what she's saying. All sounds have completely faded away. Incredulous and numb, I nod. This dumbstruck feeling sticks with me as my mom and sister leave. I'm not upset. I mean, they were bound to separate sooner or later. I was just expecting it to be later rather than sooner. When Steven shows up, I explain to him what happened and tell him I'd rather talk about it another time. Really, I'm not sure I know how to talk about it right now. Besides, I do have to get into a good night's sleep before the concert. My dad hides away in the basement, and I hide in my room. The next morning, it's raining. The clouds fall overhead as I follow a line of kids in hoodies to Downsview Park. Steven's gonna show up later, so for now it's just me, a backpack full of my clothes from my uncle's place, and Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson's not playing at Edgefest. No, I'm just listening to his music on my headphones as I wait for things to start. Folk rock is maybe a weird precursor to the lineup at Edgefest, but listening to it is a good calming way to distract me from the fact that I don't know if going to this today was the right decision. My parents have just separated. After-school specials on sitcoms tell me I should be distraught. I'm at the concert now, and I just want to have a good time. I try to blend in at the back of the crowd, but I feel like I stand out. For one thing, I'm all by myself. I'm also bumping into people with this backpack. I'd love to take it off. It's already weighing me down, and the day's just started, but I can't put it down. The rain and crowd have turned the ground into a mud soup. It's gonna be a long day. But then the music starts. The first band is one I've never heard of before. They're ska punk, and even though I don't care for ska, they're putting on an interesting show. They're running around the stage in these neon-colored skinny jeans, suspenders, and terrible haircuts. And they're talking and making crude jokes between songs. I never realized how much performance went into a live concert. I'm casually observing their stage presence. After their set, Steven finally shows up. His hands are thrust in the pockets of his hoodie, and his shoulders are hunched in the perfect crowd maneuvering fashion as he shovels his way towards me. He furrows his bushy eyebrows and tightly contorts his mouth like, "Well, show him, Steven." That's Steven. and that's our mutual sign of greeting. He asks me.
What'd I miss?
I tell him, just the first band. You should have seen them, though. They were running on the stage in these fancy outfits and flashy haircuts, and get this, they were talking and making jokes between songs. It was wild.
Sounds pretty par for the course, but that's cool.
I remember that Steven's a concert veteran. He takes a second to pause before he asks me.
So how are things at home?
I sigh and give him a little shrug. They're fine. I'm going to my uncle's after this. I've got my stuff with me. I indicate the bag on my shoulders to Steven. I try to put on a brave face to let him know that I really am fine, that I'm not worried about doing the wrong thing. My grade 10 drama class must have been worth something because he seems to buy it. At this moment, the Edge DJs come up on stage. They yell at us.
How's it going, Toronto?
Steven and the crowd cheer back, so I cheer too. They announce that the Arkells are about to play. I really cheer now. The bigger bands are up. The Arkells take to the stage and immediately start. I join the rest of the crowd and loudly yelling the first line of the song. Oh, the boss is coming! It's amazing! The day becomes a blur of awesome music. The bands know exactly what they're doing, and they make it seem effortless as they play perfectly in sync with each other, while also matching yet commanding the energy from the crowd. The whole time, I'm yelling, I'm headbanging, I'm clapping, and I'm dancing. At some point during the still set, I develop a headache, but through my childish glee, it's easy to ignore. The throb simply becomes part of the music, a syncopated beat playing only in my skull. I'm smiling through every note of every song that every band plays. Metric is on stage now. At this point, the entire audience consists of preteen girls, their parents, and Steven and me. I'm yelling the lyrics the loudest. Metric finishes their set, and Emily Haynes calls out to the audience.
We love you, Toronto!
As the last band member leaves view, the crowd begins to shift. The preteen girls and their parents are being squeezed out as swarms of tall, muscular, angry-looking dudes pour in. Steven and I exchange a knowing look. Alexis on Fire is the next band up. I'm ready. As I look around at the new faces in the crowd, I'm affirmed in the thought that this is the sort of music men should listen to. After all, screaming over power chords is surely a sign of maturity. The tall metalheads push their way around me, and Alexis on Fire take the stage.
This is from our heart, sincerity of a simple chords.
The crowd explodes. There are too many people for a single mosh pit, so instead multiple pockets open up throughout. As the people around me rearrange themselves into moshers and bystanders, I feel myself being pushed away from Steven and pulled right into a mosh pit. I am immediately overwhelmed. In a panic, I scan the crowd, looking for Steven. I see him, and he yells something at me.
Rosa!
But I can't understand him. The blare of the guitars is too loud. He can't repeat himself before the moshers begin to include me in their moshing. A tall, shirtless man bounds towards me. I try to brace myself, maybe fend him off, but all I get from my efforts as he runs into me is a nearly dislocated shoulder. My assailant runs off in one direction, followed by the other moshers. He then winds up in his original position. He goes off in the same direction, again followed by the other moshers, and I finally understand what Steven yelled. Run in a circle. I start to run, but I can't appreciate the fact that I'm in my first circle pit. The ground is even soupier than it was in the morning, and I feel other moshers pushing against my backpack. If I fall, my backpack and clothes would get ruined. This is all I managed to salvage from home. I'd have to head back, explain to my dad what happened, and then I'd get in trouble. He'd yell at me, he'd yell at my mom for letting me go. It's not something any of us need right now. I guess I could also get trampled? But either way, my dad would find out. The circle pit stops and becomes a regular mosh pit, with everyone shoving everyone else in random directions. I try to leave and stand in the more stable parts of the crowd, but every time I reach the edge, the people there push me back. They think I'm one of the moshers and want to be propelled back into the pit. I can't tell them otherwise before they shove me. Alexis on Fire plays another chorus, and I see, the other side of the pit, a heavier guy running towards me. He's also shirtless, again, for some reason. There's no one else in between him and me. He heads right towards me. He hits me. I begin to fall over. As I lose my feet from under me and begin my descent into the muddy mess, there's nothing I can do. My backpack is going to get ruined. My clothes are going to get ruined. My dad is going to get mad at me. Also, I might die. I hit the mud. Above me, I hear the heavier kid earnestly call out.
Sorry, dude.
The crowd stops, and I feel hands pull me up immediately to my feet. I mumble that I'm okay, and everyone else goes back to moshing. I make my way towards the edge. The people there finally part and let me through. I'm a veteran of the pit now. I'm one of them. I meet Steven at the back of the crowd. He asks me,
You okay, dude?
I assess the mud on my clothing. I have a single stripe all along my right side, but my backpack's okay. Also, I wasn't trampled. I tell Steven honestly and happily, yeah, I'm totally fine. We hang out at the back of the crowd for the rest of Alexis on Fire's set. After a while, Steven asks me,
Wanna get out of here?
I tell him, yeah, I'm ready to call it a day. Steven's dad picks him up, and I take the subway down to my uncle's place. I sit alone, content and satisfied. I busy myself with trying to remove as much mud as possible from my pants and shoes. The drying chunks fall to the train's floor with bits of grass in them, souvenirs from the destroyed field. As the stations pass by, I pick away, humming Jack Johnson loudly to myself. I don't need calming music, or I'm not anxious anymore. I'm not worried. Going to the concert was definitely the right decision.